Over here on YouTube going live. Hi, everybody. It's Sherry St. Marie, and I am here in Naples, Florida. Today, what I'm doing is an episode of my podcast. The podcast is called Assets and Influence. That is actually done with intelligence, cheeky creative, because I literally mean assets and influence because I deal with real estate, life, and media. However, I also absolutely just as flamin' loud mean it with the priceless stuff of influence of someone at the grocery store who makes a small gesture that changes someone's life and other things. And so today, the episode is called I get my own sense of humor and joy out of some of the things I do. So here's the episode today, behaving with affluence. I don't mean behaving as in you need to behave, because actually sometimes I follow the rules for sure. I'm a huge with ethics and licensing, but other than that, I am creative. I enjoy lots of different things, lots of good conversation, really intelligent things that are coming out in the world right now, and all different kinds of friendships and relationships and all different types of business. Because sometimes when you just stay in your asset class, you're missing out. So let's get into this today. Today, again, it's called Behaving with Affluence. So what I'm going to share some experiences with you guys on are, I am incredibly fortunate to have all kinds of friends, from people who are very challenged in life to people who are millionaires and billionaires. I live full-time in Naples, Florida. I do travel up north to my children, my family, and my grandbaby. But I'm full-time here in Naples. I don't just do real estate here in Naples, because I also can sell anywhere in 29 other countries besides the United States and the entire United States with my teammates. So I have 90,000 teammates. Last week, I was live streaming in Mexico to our luxury St. Regis and Shaw residents. The Shaw guys, we have just 3 left. Look up Shaw residents if you want to look at something affluent. That actually, those residents have to do with celebrities, royalties, known people in a brand new construction wellness setting in an exclusive area of Mexico. And we have 3 units left. That's the kind of stuff I can live stream and do here. Having said that, more of what I want to talk about with you today is this. I've had the fortune, particularly heavy for the last 5 years, from Wisconsin to international to Europe to here being on the global committee, being certified in international real estate, but also I just have found by this stage and age, I'm really interested in all kinds of business conversations, all kinds of social intelligent conversations and things like that. And so I've built up these really beautiful friendships, clients, adding to clients all the time. And there becomes this place where the vast majority, all of them who are my friends of means, are entrepreneurs. They are. Multiple of them are patent owners. Multiple of them are plane owners, like airplane and airline owners. Multiple of them are boat owners and things like that. And McLarens and all this good stuff from, Wisconsin to down here to international. I don't say any of that to impress you. Here's the beautiful conversation I want to have with you today. And that is this thing of how have I, who can be barefoot to boots to heels, totally laid back, don't need to be entertained, or walking the beach, to going to a gala somewhere, going to show something that the dirt alone is $90 million. You have to be able to flex and handle yourself. And I want to talk a little bit about today, the faux pas people do when you're going to pretend you're not listening. Here's the thing I do a lot, where I'm speaking to you and it's like you're voyeuring in on my conversation. This is important. I wouldn't normally say these things out loud. I wouldn't normally be telling you these things. I have to tell you so you know. But in general, the etiquette and things are, you're not going to talk about all of this. There are so many people that I have watched for decades that a certain handful of them are so busy showing off and spouting their everything, from the watch to the cars to the house to the, okay? There are others who are the majority who are quiet money. They don't need to tell you and show you and have their name on the something. They don't treat me any different than they do their neighbor who is living right there. There are people, particularly, I will tell you right now, that are quieting their money even more so socially and publicly. What does that mean? That means an awful lot of people are taking a look at, I don't want to show and tell all my stuff from a safety perspective, from a, I've earned this by obviously providing jobs and things, or owning patents or creative IPs or things like that with other people, right? That they have some cognizance of that, of not wanting to say, well, look what I have because you helped me build that, or pieces like that. So some of it is just the good awareness. For me, each of these relationships, and this is my joke, especially in Naples, I have more people that I can't say who I'm with or what I'm doing, although I'm massively principled and behave myself, but also have a good time and all this stuff. I'm not going to be sharing names with you for them, but also for myself, right? If it's a setting where I can, okay, great, and everybody understands that. But a lot of the time, I can't necessarily say who was I having this conversation with? Who did I come up with this idea for? Gosh, I have these 2 new development ideas that are like, nobody's done them. Nobody's done them. So right now, I'm trying to attract some really big jing. I can say that. I have one builder in line first. If they do not step up in the next 2 days here, I'll move on to the next. Where, I mean, you need about $200 million to do one of them. The other one, you don't. The other one, you need about 100 million. But that takes a bigger person, right? And yet I'm the one with the creative idea that they didn't have. And so we learn to build these relationships of appreciation, of, oh gosh, I didn't see this idea, or how she came up with this piece, or whatever, right? Being in Naples and also traveling, depending on who it is I'm working with or friends with, or whatever, or sometimes need to be in different settings, right? So sometimes I need to be that public person who is can be incredibly polished. When you see my short goofing around social media, it looks a little wild, right? Because I'm doing the trends and that kind of stuff. That's not always my personality, for sure. That is I've been on camera and talent since I was 5. That's just something I'm able to do. I can also hugely pull it back. And if I'm with somebody, and I will also get into the intimate relationships with different people, that I certainly have had over the years, it's a really sacred space. And in that beautiful space, where you can meet each other, whether it is personal or professional or whatever, is not treating them any differently than I'm this beautiful part of it and you're that beautiful part of it. And do we enjoy this time together? Or would we like to build something, work or personal? And where would I not like to? And who is arrogant and no thank you? I get the choice of that. They get to decide as well, right, of what they're doing. But I want to share a little bit of this, getting into this idea of behaving with affluence. So here are some of them. I'll start with just bits of it. And I am not your etiquette teacher. I want to be clear about that. What I want to be clear about is that I'm a very different personality. I'm a big heart, a big love. I can be very charismatic. Obviously, I can do some of these creative pieces, but I also do legal contractual work and things like that. The difference is that it's just like being with any other type of person, whether you're meeting them for work or you're meeting them socially, or for a relationship. It is, how do the two of you do together, and does it flex? And so I always say it's like learning how to dance with somebody, right, that you've never danced with before. And what might be wildly fun is, oh my gosh, she can relax like she's 5 or 17 sometimes, of just fun walking the beach or dancing on the lanai or whatever. And at the same time, she can clean up and go to the Ritz-Carlton for dinner and shake hands and say hello to everybody who was at the event. That was a fundraiser or, whatever it happens to be. That can be an asset for a lot of people. I have learned so much. And so here's the part I want to move into now. These are the pieces. You have to in particular of people with means and affluence, understand privacy. So most of the time, they do not want you sharing, especially private conversations you've had, whether they be business or personal. If they're going to be vulnerable, that you have been blessed in a sacred space in their life. It's true of all people, but it's in particular true of people that have means and have to look out a little bit more for who are they allowing in their life and who are they doing what with or whatever. I will move into pieces like I'm like this with everybody, but I particularly understand it with people with affluence. That is, if I've ever been given a photo, so you've shared a photo with me, particularly of your life, your family, your something, I will not ever share that. If you ever say to me, this you need to keep private. I want to share it with you, Sherry, but I don't want it going past us, right? Texts. They don't want, if they trust you, because their lawyer would be saying to them, hear me, their lawyer would be saying to them, do not text, especially in this day and age, do not text anything. Don't text anything. Because they're going to end up being a big, huge deal and millions of dollars of a mess and stuff later, right? So if someone is texting you and someone is sharing particularly things about life, or you're going to meet to do whatever, you're going on a trip together, or it's business, that's the stuff you just have to understand right off the bat. You have to, day one, understand if they're inviting you to their home, their boat, their McLaren, their what, that you're not in 2 seconds shooting social media without permission. And I wouldn't even ask permission. I would be in the moment, enjoying them or the situation or the event. I think it's a big faux pas to be saying. I have never once asked to drive all the different sports cars I've been around. I prefer them to drive. Usually the owner of the car, male or female, prefers to drive anyway. Doesn't want you scratching up their car. And it's more fun. And so that would be the faux pas to say, gosh, can I drive? Or, do you care if yes, usually they do, right? If they don't care, they will offer to you. They will say, do you want to do this? Or, hey, I'm not home for the weekend. You want to use the pool, whatever. They'll offer to you. And that's how you will know. Here's the piece. Again, so much of it is about, I'm the same. And so I do understand, and I have a lot of respect for what they have built. I have friends who, again, some of them are owning asset pieces, whether they be IP. I know lots of different patents. So anything between car parts, that sort of thing, computer chips. I know somebody who owns a patent on the computer chips that go in almost every single car. I met him 5 years ago down here. He also owns all kinds of other things, including real estate and all this kind of stuff. And so I won't say his name, but amazing. And so every winter when he'd come down, he'd call me and say, can I take you to dinner on 5th? He's an incredibly intelligent gentleman. He was born in Rome. I've not had these experiences. And so he would call and say, could I take you to dinner on 5th? And then could we sit in his car, one of his famous cars, and listen to Pavarotti? That was his favorite thing to do. And of course, that was fantastic. I'm going to get a little emotional. He shared stories with me about his life or other friends of his, somebody who actually at an end of life situation over their means and whatever, that he was the person to make sure things were done honorably and all that kind of stuff that just make a statement of what kind of a person he is. It was unbelievable. And he shared those stories with me in detail. And he shared different stories with me over the years that I have known him. And he knows I keep that. You'll never know full details. He did take his photo with myself and 5 other women that we had dinner with one night, which was fun. But again, he's a remarkable person, and has done unbelievable things in all kinds of countries with lots of different business. And he got such a kick out of, I'm originally from Wisconsin. He has a piece of his business in Wisconsin. I'm such a mom and a teacher and a love heart and whatever. And he just enjoyed that. And so, see the difference of behaving with. He was always super respectful to me, really great about me being, my children being the most important thing to me, and all that kind of good stuff. So, these are the kind of things I mean of, he also understands he only gets access to me as long as he's behaving well and respectfully and all that kind of stuff. Same for myself. I only have access to him if he would like to offer that, right? And these situations. But we've had some amazing, great conversations and stories, and he loves to just meet people out and invite them to the table. He's very Italian. And so that was fun. Lots of different memories down here. I can go through my whole list of all these different people that I have met. Some of them are business owners that are business owners up north, so in New Jersey, business owners that are in Minnesota, business owners that are in Illinois, in Chicago, business owners who are in Europe, for sure, business owners who are here in Florida, in the state of Florida, right? And business owners that have both tangible and intangible things. And so all of those pieces ended up to be such interesting, rich, different conversations. So again, a lot of these people have at times been pure friends with me and still are. Some are, they have been a client, a real estate client at a particular time and become a friend, because usually if you are my client, I definitely end up being friends with most of my clients, because I enjoy the job, because I take all the extra details, because I do these types of things. And then here's where I kind of want to end on this little part of behaving with affluence. One of the greatest things that I have learned to do, and it's not the same for everybody, so you need to be you and I will be me. We have had the situation of me being my same barefoot self, if it's okay to be barefoot in their home, and climbing up on the chair with my feet all folded up, because I sit like a pretzel when I'm busy talking to you and we're whatever, that I'm myself and I'm able to be lighthearted. And example of clothing, mine, a lot of times I choose to purchase at the consignment store or Target. That doesn't matter for me and the way I'm behaving with them, or they certainly do not care at all about any of those pieces. And here's what I can tell you further. So I also am in sports and entertainment marketing in terms of real estate purchases and things like that. Like I said, access to a lot of people that, have a known name that I wouldn't say on social media. And what they hugely appreciate is a normal, down to earth, really appreciative, very optimistic, cool human. Super hard work ethic, lot of fun. I will tell you also, and I hadn't planned to say this, but I will say this because part of this podcast is just for us to all explore different ideas, different experiences, things that happen, things that start to build a community for us. And so this is what it is. I didn't used to be comfortable with people with means. I don't come from it. And so it used to be, when I first was moving down here and flying for clients and things like that, it used to make me very, very uncomfortable. I had a first client who, one of his greatest requests was, would I please spend a week doing a tourism package with him that included helping him purchase the home, find all of the material that he needed for it, for towels, and even decorating the other side of the bed because he had lost his wife and hoped to meet somebody, and golfing at the Ritz. And it made me uncomfortable, So I had to work my way up to this. It's now been 5 years, but I had to work my way up to not feeling bad about how much he paid for me to golf at the Ritz when I don't even golf. And he said, Sherry, I had the best time I've ever had golfing because We laughed so hard. We talked about all kinds of things. We went to lunch at the Ritz, we golfed the Ritz, and afterwards we went to a gas station and sat in front in his car, his Porsche that he had just picked up, and just talked about all these stories and stuff. And he's like, I just had the best time, right? Um, I allowed myself, which was uncomfortable at first, to be compensated for obviously the real estate, also for the purchasing his home pieces and all that, plus a tourism package of an entire week of showing him where to go to the beach. Here's some 5, 6 different places for dinner. We went to church, we went to whatever he wanted to do, right? And I had it all planned out in a tourism package for him. I wouldn't have been comfortable doing that 5.5 years ago. I have had all kinds of phenomenal people that have invited me, including driving a phenomenal boat. And I don't really need to do that, but I have a really good friend that has a phenomenal boat. And he's like, come on, Sherry, you got to just, and he's got really great music and I love music. And so he's like, just, you got to experience it this once out here, right? And so we are massive waves with big wind, and I'm driving the boat, and it was fun. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I have a second friend that let me drive his boat as well. But that's fun stuff, and I wouldn't normally have done that. And so I have had to learn to accept and I'm always thankful and gracious, but to be able to receive, because I like to be the giver. I can't do the big physical things, but I can absolutely do all of the love, support, cheerleading, thinking, intellectual things, and that's good. So all the time that we choose to work in different categories of our careers or find different friends along the way or find ourselves as me in a location 1,300 miles away from my family that I never thought I would be in, it helps us learn and grow and learn how to behave. As I said, I've behaving with affluence. I have learned to move myself to the point that I am pitching just the dirt of $90 million onto a development that I created the concept for, that's not been seen anywhere. I'm going to be paid on the development. I'm going to be paid on the buyer broker. I'm going to be paid on the relisting as we build the assets that are going to be sold on there. And we can also repeat and do work in other parts of the country. I've learned to grow in that. I'm really comfortable with it now, saying, absolutely, these are my talents, these are my assets. Again, for those opportunities, it's got to be somebody who's got the ability for about 200 million, another one with 100 million that's a sports themed. But these are the things that can come out of things as we each get comfortable with just our human person of how we are, what we have to offer in assets and talents that a lot of people don't care. Like literally, they don't care. Or if it really matters to somebody, okay, fine. Like I've had so many say to me, sure, you're just a great human. And so, gosh, if we need to get you a different car, we need to get you a different whatever later, fine, whatever. In fairness to myself, I've not accepted. I've accepted dinner and flowers, and that's good. But I bring this up to you today to bring up this beautiful idea of behaving with affluence as you kind of deciding what's comfortable for you, what do you want to do, what do you not want to do, because what you see happening in social media with everything just showing my huge yacht, it's not always received well. It's not always what everybody wants to be doing anymore. There's a lot of people, like I said, pulling back into quieter money, quieter affluence, and wanting a ride or die, wanting someone that's there for you, whether you're up or down, whether you are, the whole world thinks you are this person on a stage who's whatever, but when you come home, you're just my sacred person. And so I wanted to share that with you today. I hope you guys have an awesome day. See you guys.